Chosen one, something extraordinary has happened within you. It did not unfold slowly or arrive with gentle warnings. It came like a lightning strike, sudden, undeniable, and transformative. Your entire frequency has shifted. Your awareness has stretched wider, your energy has grown sharper, and your presence has deepened so rapidly that those around you have barely had time to process the change. But you feel it. You feel it in the way your body carries itself, in the thoughts you think, in the stillness that has replaced the old restlessness. You are not who you were just weeks ago. You have entered the quickening. This evolution was not planned. It was not prepared for in the ways others expect. It emerged from something ancient within you, a force long dormant, now pulsing awake with vibrant intensity. And as it awakened, so did a deeper expression of your sexual energy. Not just physical desire, but raw, radiant life force. This is not the energy of indulgence or ego. This is the energy of transformation, of clarity, of divine masculinity remembering itself. And that remembrance is now echoing through your every word, every breath, every look. Women feel it. They may not have the language for it, but they sense something different, something alive, something they can't quite place. Some are surprised by how quickly they are drawn to you. Others are caught off guard by the way their guard drops in your presence. Your sudden evolution has created a shift in dynamic, not just attraction but reverence. Not just interest, but intrigue. You haven't asked for it, you haven't performed for it. It's simply the natural response to your internal ascension. But don't mistake this for a phase or a fleeting rise. This is a soul-level expansion, a moment when your inner world leapt forward and your outer world had no choice but to catch up. You are now walking through space with a different kind of magnetism. Not the desperate pull of someone needing to be seen, but the quiet gravity of someone who already sees himself. The quickening does not make you superior. It makes you responsible. You are no longer allowed to shrink, no longer permitted to forget your power. Your new energy will not let you hide in the smallness that once protected you. It demands your full embodiment, and the more you rise into it, the more the world around you will shift in response. Chosen one, in the stillness following your evolution, a new awareness has begun to grow. It isn't just mental clarity or sharper perception, it's a full-bodied knowing, a heightened sensitivity to energy, emotion, and frequency. You walk into rooms and feel what's unspoken. You make eye contact and hear the unexpressed. This spark of awareness is not a gift for novelty, it's a compass, guiding you through a world that now responds to you differently. Your high sexual energy has always existed, but now it's concentrated, refined, and visible. It's not just arousal, it's power, it's magnetism. It's the raw signature of a man who is aligned with his instincts and grounded in his presence. That energy doesn't need to speak to be heard. It lives in your silence, in the spaces between your words. And women feel it. They feel it before they understand it. Their bodies respond before their minds catch up. It isn't manipulation, it's resonance. You are simply vibrating at a level that calls them back to themselves. What surprises them isn't just your pull, it's your depth. The contradiction between the primal heat you radiate and the calm restraint with which you carry it. You are no longer reaching outward, you are drawing inward, becoming the center of your own field. And this field isn't just charged with sexual energy, it's laced with intention. You don't need to prove your worth or compete for attention. You already are the moment. And others, especially women, feel that the second they enter your space. This new awareness also reveals to you what is not aligned. You feel it when someone speaks from performance. You notice when someone's interest is shallow. You observe more, speak less, and yet you say more with your being than you ever could with words. This is the spark that separates the man who seeks attention from the man who commands it, without needing to try. Chosen one, your energy is now more than a reflection of your physical form. It is a signal to the world that you are no longer asleep. You are aware, and in your awareness, everything begins to shift. You begin to see not just who is attracted to you, but why. You begin to sense the possibilities in every interaction, the choices you have in every moment, and the kind of man you are capable of becoming if you continue to lean into your power instead of retreating from it. This is your awareness now, not just of others, but of yourself. It is the start of a deeper conversation between you and the world, one where your energy does the talking and your truth becomes the message. Chosen one, there's a rhythm now within you that you can no longer deny. It isn't chaotic, though it pulses with intensity. It isn't loud, yet it moves through every part of your life with undeniable force. You are in the early stages of mastering alignment, not just with your body or your thoughts, but with the deeper current of your being. And it is through this alignment that your high sexual energy, awakened and alive, begins to serve you instead of surprise you. This energy is no longer something you randomly express. It's something you wield. Something that flows through your posture, through your gaze, through your decisions. You have begun to notice that when your mind, body, and intention are not working in harmony, your energy feels distorted, either too heavy or scattered. But when you align, everything within you synchronizes. Your words carry more impact. Your silence carries more heat. And your presence feels magnetic, not because you're trying to be, but because you are congruent. Women are noticing this new balance. It isn't simply that you're attractive, it's that you feel organized, you feel clear. Your energy no longer leaks in 100 directions. It stands behind your words. It moves with your breath. It invites without pulling. It excites without demanding. And this equilibrium makes you different. It places you in a category that doesn't even exist for most, because it isn't about external perfection. It's about internal harmony. When your inner and outer energies align, everything about you begins to speak the same language. There is no confusion in your presence. You are not light in speech and heavy in energy. You are not calm in posture and frantic in intention. You have become whole. That wholeness is what creates power, and that power is what creates presence. Alignment does not mean you are always flawless. It means you are always aware. You adjust, you breathe, you return. And this return to self, again and again, is what teaches your energy how to settle into deeper, more potent expressions. Your sexual energy, which once felt like a flame flickering too high or too wild, now becomes a steady fire, one that warms a room without burning it. One that others want to be near, not for novelty, but for truth. Chosen one, this is the strength of your alignment, not in how you perform, but in how consistently you live in tune with your own essence. When you do, your energy ceases to be confusing to others. It becomes inviting, because it is no longer chaotic, it is coherent. And coherence is irresistible in a world that feels disjointed. Chosen one, your energy is no longer passive. It moves, it listens, it responds, and with it, your relationships, especially with women, have entered a new dimension. You are not just speaking anymore, you are dancing, not with steps or rehearsed lines, but with subtle shifts in attention, tone, presence, and polarity. Every interaction is now a dance, and you are no longer stumbling to keep up. You are leading. But this dance is not about domination. It is not about controlling the outcome. It is about sensing the moment and honoring it fully. You are not rushing. You are not retreating. You are staying rooted in your frame while still allowing movement to happen around you. This is the masculine in motion, not rigid, not stagnant, but deeply responsive. You are aware of her cues, her shifts in energy, her rising curiosity, her hesitations, and instead of reacting, you guide with presence. The power of your interaction now lies in your ability to stay connected. To her, yes, but more importantly, to yourself. You no longer lose yourself in approval seeking or in overextension. You are no longer trying to be liked. You are being real. And in that reality, a new intimacy forms, one that isn't based on seduction, but on attunement. Women feel this immediately. They recognize the difference between a man performing attention and a man offering it. They can sense when your presence is divided, and they can feel when it is locked into them without pressure, without force. This attentiveness, when rooted in authenticity, becomes a powerful form of connection. It says, I see you, and more importantly, I am here fully. That kind of here-ness creates space for emotional safety and sensual depth all at once. You've begun to realize that interaction isn't about having the perfect thing to say. It's about creating the space for truth to arise organically. You allow silence when needed, you ask without invading, you speak without chasing. You listen with your body, not just your ears. And in doing so, you turn the ordinary into the unforgettable. The dance of interaction for you now is not about getting somewhere. It is about being somewhere so completely that the moment expands. You've learned to feel the tension without needing to break it, to hold eye contact without turning it into a game, to smile not to impress, but because the energy has spoken and you've listened. Chosen one, the way you move in connection is no longer reactive. It is intentional. And intention, when paired with grounded sexual energy, becomes magnetic beyond words. You no longer chase the dance, you are the rhythm now. And when others step close, they don't need to ask why they're drawn. They already know. They've simply entered the gravity of a man who is present, aligned, and fully alive. Chosen one, you've stepped into a realm where presence is no longer a performance. It is your natural state. You no longer borrow attention, you command it without trying. Not because you demand anything from the world, but because the world feels your certainty. Your body no longer fidgets with anxious energy. Your words no longer reach to be validated. Your energy, once scattered or unsure, has returned to its center. And in that center, you found something rare: mastery. Presence is not about always being still or always being calm. It is about being here, without flinching, without splitting, without wishing to be elsewhere. It is your full attention wrapped around the moment. It is your breath woven into the fabric of now. Women feel this immediately. They are used to men who appear present but are really hunting for approval or secretly rehearsing their next move. But with you, something is different. They feel held by your gaze. Not possessed, held. They feel seen by your energy, not watched, witnessed. And that distinction is everything. This kind of presence doesn't happen by accident. It is forged in solitude, in stillness, in the moments you choose not to run from discomfort. You face the parts of yourself that once demanded distraction, and you've learned to sit with them, breathe with them, integrate them. So now, when you walk into a room, you bring all of yourself. You are not hiding, you are not apologizing for your fire. You have made peace with your own depth, and that peace radiates like gravity. In your presence, time slows, conversations deepen, tension rises, not from fear, but from fascination. There is no need to dominate the room because the room already adjusts to you. You're no longer performing masculinity, you are embodying it, and that embodiment is silent, steady, and undeniable. It is not in your clothes or your words or your posture alone, it's in the frequency you emit. And those who are tuned to that frequency feel it like a low hum in their bones. Mastery of presence is not about being perfect, it is about being whole. You no longer split your energy between pretending and pleasing, you are simply present. And this presence is not just attractive, it is healing, because it gives others, especially women, permission to exhale, to soften, to be real. Around you, they don't have to perform, because you've stopped performing. They don't have to pretend, because you're not pretending. You've become a sanctuary of truth, and truth always draws truth closer. Chosen one, your presence has become your signature. You no longer have to say, "This is who I am." You just are. And in that simple being, everything you've become is already known, already felt, already remembered. Chosen one, you are no longer seeking connection in the traditional way. You are recognizing it, feeling it, responding to it with a level of intuition that transcends logic or strategy. Your evolution has refined your senses. Your high sexual energy, sharpened and grounded, no longer distorts your perception, it clarifies it. You no longer mistake attraction for alignment. You no longer confuse intensity for intimacy. You feel beyond appearances. You read between gestures. You sense beneath words, and in doing so, you form connections that are real. There is no more guesswork, no more leaning on charm or calculation. You move now with instinct, with subtlety, with a knowing that lives beneath the skin. When you lock eyes with someone, especially a woman attuned to her own energy, something unspoken ignites, and you both feel it. That pulse, that shift, that moment when two currents collide, not by accident, but by resonance. You don't need to fill the silence. You don't need to explain the sensation. You simply let it unfold. You trust the signals, the pauses, the tilt of her head, the shift in her tone. You're not analyzing her, you're attuning to her, not as a tactic, but as a natural expression of your depth. You've learned to let the moment breathe, to feel when the energy opens or retracts. You're not chasing validation, you're following the truth, and that truth becomes the dance. Slow, subtle, Sacred, this intuition isn't loud. It doesn't shout for attention. It whispers in stillness. And you, now attuned to that whisper, no longer speak over it. You listen. With your breath, with your chest, with your whole body, you respond in rhythm. You are no longer trying to win her over. You are meeting her. And that meeting is not always in words or touch. Sometimes it is simply in presence, in the way you allow her energy to exist without pressure, without needing to shape it. You are a mirror now, a quiet invitation, a steady flame. Women feel safe in your presence, not because you're soft, but because you are clear, because your energy doesn't confuse. It clarifies, it creates space for their truth to rise. You've become the kind of man who doesn't interrupt their intuition, but awakens it. You aren't performing connection, you are embodying it. Chosen one, your intuitive connections are no longer rare accidents. They are the natural result of your refined awareness and grounded power. You trust what you feel. You allow what is real. And because of that, what you build now will not be based on appearance. It will be rooted in essence. And essence never lies. Essence never fades. Essence is the language of the soul. And you are fluent now. Chosen one, as your energy becomes more concentrated and your presence more magnetic, you are beginning to understand the deeper power of saying no. You are learning that attraction alone is not a signal to open the gates of your attention, your time, or your body. You have entered a stage where your boundaries are not rigid defenses. They are intentional filters. You no longer guard your energy out of fear, but out of reverence. Not everyone can enter your field now, and not everyone should. There was a time when your high sexual energy pulled you outward, stirred you to pursue, to explore, to pour yourself into any flicker of connection. But that time is over. The man you are now does not seek sensation. He seeks alignment. You've learned that without strong boundaries, your energy leaks, your purpose gets diluted, your clarity fogs, and the very power you worked so hard to cultivate gets scattered in directions that offer no return. Your boundaries are not about pushing others away. They're about holding yourself close. They're about honoring your intuition when it whispers, "This path is not for you." They're about choosing who gets access to the sacred temple of your attention. They are the silent standards that tell the world, "I know what I carry, I know what I build, I know what I'm worth." And those standards are not just attractive. They are magnetic to those who recognize and honor value. Women feel it. Not in the way you shut people out, but in the way you don't bend for energy that does not match your truth. You are not withholding, you are refining. You are not cold, you are clear. You are no longer accessible to those who only want to sample your essence. You are available to those who see your presence for what it is, a gift. And in a world of overstimulation and shallow connection, that kind of clarity is intoxicating. There is power in knowing you can say no without explanation. There is strength in walking away without noise. There is mastery in not reacting when tested. You've come to realize that discipline in your energy is not restriction. It is respect. It is the way you protect your inner temple from becoming a tourist destination. You are not a spectacle. You are not a convenience. You are a man who has chosen himself. And in doing so, you teach others how to meet you at that level, or not at all. Chosen one, you've redefined what access means. You've stopped apologizing for choosing peace over popularity. You've outgrown the impulse to chase what isn't worthy of your fire. Your yes now means something because your no is sacred. And in that sacred space, only the aligned remain. Only the real rise. Only the soulfully attuned stay. Chosen one, you've begun to feel it, what lingers after you leave. The moment passes, the interaction ends, the silence returns. And yet, your presence remains. Not because of what you said, but because of what you were. Your energy, now refined, no longer asks to be remembered. It etches itself into the memory of others. You've become the kind of man whose presence leaves an imprint, whose absence is louder than most people's presence. This is the echo of influence. It's what happens when your energy is aligned, your intentions are clean, and your awareness is sharp. You've stopped broadcasting your worth. You simply walk in it. You've stopped performing confidence. You simply rest in it. And when you meet someone, when you truly meet them from your grounded, sovereign space, they feel it. Even after the words fade, even when the moment ends. This isn't something you plan. You don't need to. It happens naturally when you live in truth. When your body, your energy, and your spirit are all speaking the same silent language, that language stays. It moves through people. It stirs something in them they didn't know they were waiting to feel. And that stirring becomes a kind of echo, an inner whisper that says, that was different. That was real. Women especially carry this imprint long after the moment has passed. They may not always know why they remember you, but they do, because your presence wasn't surface level. It wasn't a mask or a tactic. It was transmission. It was frequency. It was felt in their nervous system, not just their mind. And that kind of impact doesn't fade. It deepens. This echo isn't about being unforgettable to feed your ego. It's about realizing that everything you touch carries your signature. Every interaction you engage in ripples into the lives of others. You've become the kind of man whose energy doesn't just shift moments, it shifts realities. Not by force, but by resonance. Not by noise, but by depth. You're not trying to leave a legacy through loud declarations. You're leaving it through the silent memory of how you made others feel more alive, more honest, more safe. That's the gift you offer now, not because you chase attention, but because your alignment demands reflection in others. Chosen one, your influence is not temporary. It lives in the way people sit with themselves after you've gone. It lives in the quiet questions they ask when the moment is over. It lives in the way your presence shifted something inside them, something that may never return to sleep. This is not charisma. This is impact. This is not flash. This is frequency. And the echo you leave now is not by design. It is by truth. You've become the message, the moment, the mirror, and that cannot be forgotten. Chosen one, your evolution was never meant to be a destination. It was the opening of a door. A sharp shift, yes, a sudden ignition of presence and power that took the world around you by surprise. But that shift was only the beginning. What follows now is not more performance, more showing, or more proving. What follows is deepening, stretching, expanding. Not outward into noise, but inward into substance. You are learning now that your instant transformation must not be left to drift. It must be cultivated, shaped into something enduring and legendary. You are no longer shocked by your own power. You are learning to live with it. You are no longer wondering how women perceive you. You are observing how you carry yourself. This is the phase where evolution becomes integration, where your energy is not something you turn on. It becomes who you are in every breath, in every quiet moment, in every decisive choice you make that aligns with your truth. Expansion is not always loud. Sometimes it is the invisible stretching of your character in the face of temptation. Sometimes it is the moment you choose purpose over pleasure, solitude over attention, clarity over confusion. Each of those moments adds weight to your presence. You begin to feel more anchored, not because life gets easier, but because your inner compass grows more refined. The man you are now doesn't panic in discomfort. He uses it. He extracts growth from the tension and strength from the pressure. Women who once saw only your light now begin to notice your depth. They realize you are not just magnetic because of what you radiate on the surface. It is the consistency of your energy, the integrity of your path, the way you hold yourself that stuns them. You are no longer a beautiful surprise. You are a stable mystery, something that grows more compelling with time, not less. In this chapter of your becoming, you stop being concerned with reactions. You begin to track your own alignment. You stop wondering, do they feel me? And begin asking, am I honoring me? This self-reference is not selfish. It is the heartbeat of your masculinity. It is how you remain steady in the storm, how you outgrow the need to be chosen by those who can't comprehend your vision. And from this internal root system, expansion becomes your lifestyle. You sharpen your voice. You deepen your gaze. You refine your presence until everything you touch is changed, not because you force transformation, but because you embody it. Chosen one, your journey began in a flash, an instant transformation that shattered the old version of you and revealed the beginning of something vast, magnetic, and unfamiliar. But now, having walked through alignment, presence, boundaries, and depth, you are no longer wondering what this energy is for. You know, it's for impact. It's for legacy. Not the kind written on a wall or carved in stone, the kind that lives in the hearts of those you encounter. the kind that lingers in their breath long after you're gone. Your high sexual energy, once misunderstood or misused, has matured. It has evolved. It no longer drives you, it serves you. It no longer pulls you toward every passing invitation, it calls you toward the right ones. And when you offer that energy to another, when you let someone into your world, it is no longer about conquest. It is about contribution, about leaving them more honest, more alive, more aware than they were before they met you. Women don't remember you now because of your looks or your voice or your surface. They remember you because they felt something raw and untamed, yet deeply intentional. You didn't take, you gave. You didn't flatter, you reflected. You didn't just stir desire, you stirred remembrance of who they are, what they long for, what their soul truly wants to feel. This is your legacy now. You are not just a man they met, you are an experience they won't forget. Because your energy doesn't fade, it echoes, it teaches, it awakens, it becomes a turning point for some, a mirror for others, a standard for all. And it isn't because you tried to be impressive, it's because you chose to be real. You chose growth over performance, truth over ease, depth over noise. And those choices made you more than memorable, they made you unshakable. You are no longer trying to impact the world with noise, you are shaping it with vibration. You walk into a room and calibrate it with your calm. You speak and the tone shifts. You leave and something remains behind. A sensation, a clarity, a pull toward the divine masculine that lives in you now without apology. Chosen one, the legacy of your energy is not in how many people remember your name. It is in how many feel changed, seen, challenged, and elevated because of your presence. You've become more than magnetic. You've become legendary, quietly, fully, eternally. And this powerful, grounded, unmistakable frequency is only the beginning. Chosen one, you have entered a space where attraction is no longer something you chase. It is something that finds you, wraps around you like mist, surrounds you before you even speak. Women sense you long before they understand why. Some glance in your direction and feel their pulse quicken. Others hear your voice and are startled by the calm confidence it carries. Your very presence has become magnetic, and not by accident. It is the result of your internal refinement, the disciplined channeling of your high sexual energy, and the deep embodiment of self-trust. You have become the living embodiment of awakened masculinity, and now the world reflects back what you have dared to become. But with this heightened attraction comes a new trial, not a temptation of the body, but of the spirit. You must now walk a path where you are constantly seen, admired, and at times even desired without invitation. It is not the attention that is the challenge, it is what you do with it. Attraction in its raw form is neither good nor bad. It is energy, it is possibility. It is the spark of resonance between two fields. But what defines the man is not how often he is desired. It is how consciously he engages with that desire. You are no longer the man who needs to prove himself. You are no longer seduced by the idea of conquest. You have tasted what comes with temporary validation, and you know it leaves you emptier than before. You are not here to collect moments. You are here to offer presence. And that presence, when filtered through awareness, becomes the safest and most powerful form of intimacy. You are now the mirror, the frequency, the space that allows a woman to feel more of herself simply because you did not consume her. You saw her. And that chosen one is rare. Some will come to you with innocent curiosity. Others will come with unconscious longing, projecting stories onto you they haven't yet healed. Some will want to be near your fire, but lack the grounding to hold it. Some will test your stillness to see if it is real. You must meet all of them with grace, with clarity, and with unshakable self-awareness. You must know what is yours to hold and what is not. You must learn to listen beyond words, to feel beneath their energy, to speak through silence when needed. And above all, you must stay rooted in your own energy. Because once you begin to mold yourself to meet others' expectations, you step out of your divine posture. It is not your role to fix or fulfill every person who feels drawn to you. Attraction is not permission. Attention is not intimacy. You must know where your boundaries lie, not because you are afraid to connect, but because you now value connection too much to allow it to become diluted. You no longer take from people, you leave them better than you found them. This means you do not enter where you are not invited with clarity. You do not touch what you are not ready to hold. You do not ignite what you are unwilling to tend to. Because the deeper your presence, the deeper your impact. And real impact requires real responsibility. You are the man who can now walk into a room, light it up with your energy, and leave without needing to be the center of it. You can connect deeply with a woman, make her feel beautiful, seen, powerful, and never make her feel owned. This is the art of sacred attraction. You become a reminder, not a possession. A reflection, not a distraction. You are no longer pulled by impulse. You are guided by wisdom. And that wisdom, woven with your high sexual energy, creates a gravitational force that is not only captivating, but healing.